Hi, welcome to the LAPD Architects video blog.
Budget is obviously key for the projects that we work on. So how do we assess the cost controls for a client's project, Trev?
Right from the beginning of a project, you have an idea of what the rough cost per square metre is going to be, and you use that as a guide to make sure that you don't go awry. But before you put in a planning application and you fix the design, it's always a good idea to have a cost plan produced for the project, which we can do in-house.
And why can't I just cost it on a pound per square metre rate?
Pound per square metres are okay, but it is very much an approximate base cost, and every scheme and design is different, and it won't allow for those nuances, those little wow factors that we all like to have. If the work that we're doing is predominantly single story, then the cost is going to be higher than if it was two story. If there's a large element of glazing or a magnificent timber staircase in the centre, it's gonna cost more. So the cost per square metre allowances just don't work.
So once I've got my design, what kind of detail would I get from a cost plan?
We look at other projects that we've done to assess robust costs for things like electrical installations, plumbing, those elements where other specialist trades are involved. But on the basic building cost, we can run through on a software program really the amount of nails that you need to build the roof and the amount of battens and the length of battens, and you can get a very accurate cost. And it's software that builders use to cost projects.
So I don't need a QS, a quantity surveyor?
In my experience, I wouldn't use a quantity surveyor.
So are you able to then give us options, perhaps, once we've got a design and we've got the cost plan?
I'd like to present the cost plan with a menu of options. So, for instance, if someone's got a £50,000 budget and the scheme is coming in at £55,000 or £60,000, it would be, you can have this for £50,000, and for another £2,000 you can have that, for another £3,000 you can have that, and the control is always with the client. The way that we present the cost plan is there are upper and lower limits depending on whether you go for a small one-man builder or you employ a medium to large size builder with overheads and costs that don't necessarily give good value for a small project. But what we provide are the key cost elements on a project that you can then add on overhead and various other costs depending on the type of builder you want to use to give you an accurate cost plan. And you use that cost plan to guide the design process. So at that stage, if things are not where you want them to be, you can see, well, actually that element has a larger cost than it needs to be, and what can we do to amend that to reduce that cost.
And the cost plan, is that something that I should give to the builder?
The cost plan is a key document for you to set your cost guidelines for that project. Again, looking at a different number of ways that you can get the building built, by all means you could use that and say to the builder, this is my cost plan, this is what I expect to pay, and you negotiate and you get a cost from them to do it that way. But probably the easiest way is to get a number of costs and to use your cost plan as a guide to make sure that your builder is providing a sensible cost for you.
And once I've got planning, how robust does the cost plan stay as we get into detailed design?
It's only robust when we do the detail pack, the construction level of drawings, if it remains true to the initial design. So if other things creep in that weren't thought of, if we decide to have £50 a square metre limestone flooring, a bespoke oak staircase for £20,000, or a handmade kitchen for £50,000, then obviously that won't have been taken into account at the initial stages. So again, refer back to the cost plan at all stages, and that's your guide document as much as your brief is a guide document.
LAPD Architects. Design for living.